the ousting of the Johannesburg Council Speaker, Vasco da Gama, who was voted out in a motion of no confidence in the early hours of this morning. Mbali Thethani is with the ANC. Mbali, one of the parties that contributed to that ousting. And so the question is, now that that is done, what's next? Who's going to occupy that critical position?
That's of course true, Xoli. We continue to give you rolling coverage of that developing story coming out from the early hours of this morning from the Johannesburg Council, where we saw Vasco da Gama being ousted as the Speaker of Council in the city of Johannesburg. Of course, we know that this was a motion brought forward by the PAC that got the support of the ANC as well as the EFF, but Xoli, at the same time, getting the support of some in that DA-led coalition. Quite shocking revelations coming out from council, especially with those who sided with the DA in this motion. But just to give us a bit more insight, what really transpired during the early hours of today is Dada Morero. He is the chairperson of the ANC in Johannesburg. Dada, you were one of the people inside that council during the early hours of this morning. Just your immediate reaction as those who supported this motion and wanted Vasco da Gama to be removed from his seat.
Well, I think it should also be noted that this was the second motion against Vasco da Gama in a period of 8 months. And the parties, including the minority parties, were convinced that Vasco da Gama is not fit for the job and therefore he has to be removed. And I think as the ANC we supported the motion. We said we'll stand by the minority parties, and they also got the shock of their lives as some within their coalition showed them that they are not happy with the performance and the conduct of Vasco da Gama, and hence they voted for the motion, in support of the motion. But it must also be noted that the motions after removal of Vasco, they voted back with the coalition because they believed in certain issues that are part of the coalition. But on this one, they broke rank and voted in support of the motion.
What does it mean now for the Joburg Council? It sits without a speaker. What is the way forward in terms of creating stability in that house?
I think the law prescribes that within a period of 10 days, the council should be convened to elect a speaker. Fortunately, there's what we call a chair of chair in the council who's still in her position, which is more or less like a deputy speaker. So she will therefore have to convene council where we'll elect the speaker.
Last week in the city of Tshwane, we saw a motion there where those in Tshwane wanted Mayor Randall Williams to go. Coming to the city of Johannesburg, we know that the DA are saying that their mayors are being targeted. Are you planning to target Mayor Mpho?
Well, it's not targeting her. The motion was presented last week at programming. Unfortunately, it did not comply with legal requirements. As such, hence the motion was not tabled in yesterday's council. But we believe that the motion will be tabled in the next council to remove Mayor Palazzi. So it will happen.
It's just 8 months since we have seen the local government elections take place, and Mpho as well as Speaker Vasco da Gama being installed in that office. Of course, what does it mean for service delivery if we continue to see a change of leadership in a very crucial council that is meant to deliver services to the people of Johannesburg?
No, clearly in the last 8 months we have not seen any services delivered, precisely because the DA coalition, instead of focusing on service delivery, they are targeting city officials, labeling them corrupt. In fact, yesterday we spent a lot of time in committee, almost 2 hours, just focusing on suspensions of senior officials. So why do we expect that the DA will be able to do anything different? And hence the call to remove them is correct, and the ANC will support the call to remove Mayor Palazzi.
So who will be bringing this motion to remove the mayor?
The motion was brought by the African Independent Congress. All what needs to be done between now and the next programming meeting is to ensure that the motion do comply, because they argued that the item on the motion that said the mayor did not disclose that there's currently a criminal case against her. And that's what the motion was saying, but they then argued that the matter is in court, when in fact the matter was not even in court.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, that is Dada Morero. He is the ANC chairperson in the city of Johannesburg, saying that it's not the end with the ousting out of the speaker. Next week, they are planning to have another motion being passed in the city of Johannesburg. And of course, this is a motion being brought forward, Koli, by the AIC, and saying that, there are no services being delivered. We know that this coalition has been in office for at least 8 months now. So hence why they are saying that this is why they will be bringing this motion, because at the root cause of it, they are saying it is about service delivery. I wonder if that is true.
Mbali, there are a lot of things to worry about here, or perhaps contemplate over, because the chair of chairs is a member of COPE, and now that person is going to occupy the position of speaker temporarily. There are allegations that the ANC is possibly working with COPE, and could there be links with the ructions in COPE right now and what is going on in Johannesburg? We're only going to have to watch the space and see exactly how all of this unfolds.